Welcome to the Buckeye Blitz on FanStream Sports, powered by DSP Media. I'm Jeff Thitoff. You can follow me on the X on Twitter @FitHappens. A lot to get into today. Also go to the website, FanStreamSports.com. The FanStream Sports app's available for Apple and Android users for round-the-clock programming. So many great new shows we're adding all the time. Download the app. It's free. Again, for Apple and Android users. The Facebook group, the FanStream Sports Facebook group. Interact with hosts and other fans. Go check it out. All right. I was thinking about this the other day, and you remember Ohio State when they hired Bill O'Brien to be the offensive coordinator for the Buckeyes, and he was only here a few weeks before he left to go take the Boston College head coaching job. So he leaves Ohio State, Ryan Day, they bring in Chip Kelly to be the offensive coordinator. Now it comes out that Dillon Gabriel, who's going to be the quarterback for Oregon this year, was at Oklahoma, also had a conversation with Ohio State about coming to be the quarterback here. Now Dillon Gabriel ended up choosing Oregon, said it was the best fit for him, and that's where he ended up. He is right now the preseason favorite to win the Big Ten Player of the Year award. So Bill O'Brien, Dillon Gabriel. Bill O'Brien was definitely hired here. Dillon Gabriel was considering Ohio State. Now, because both those guys went elsewhere, Chip Kelly's here, and now also Will Howard comes in from Kansas State. And I was trying to think about, is Ohio State better off? Are they better off by the fact that O'Brien did go to Boston College? And are they better off that they got Will Howard instead of Dillon Gabriel? We'll start with the coaching part of it first. I feel like they're better off from the standpoint of Ryan Day trusts Chip Kelly and has such a long history with Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly coached him when he was in college, was a position coach. He followed Chip Kelly around to the NFL with Philadelphia and San Francisco. Ryan Day did as a coach on his staff. He believes and has a friendship, a long-term friendship with Chip Kelly. I think that he trusts Chip Kelly more than he would ever trust Bill O'Brien, if that makes sense. So, nothing against Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien's going to do great things at Boston College, or as great as you can do things, I guess, at Boston College because it's Boston College. But he'll do fine at Boston College, and he would have been fine here at Ohio State. I just think that Chip Kelly's a better fit because I believe Ryan Day trusts him more and knows that he can count on Chip Kelly and have a conversation with Chip Kelly, and there'll be no feathers ruffled and whatnot. I think it's a great relationship for Ohio State. Now, moving on to Dillon Gabriel. Outstanding quarterback. He's 5'11". He's very shifty. He had a great career at Oklahoma, goes into Oregon now, and like I said, he's the odds-on favorite right now to win Big Ten Player of the Year. Ohio State didn't get him. I don't know how heavily they pursued him, but Dillon Gabriel made it pretty clear that Oregon was his spot once he went out and visited Oregon after Ohio State. So Ohio State gets Will Howard, kid from Kansas State, 24 years old, and he's 6'4". He is cut. He's 242. He's more the size of the quarterback I want for this Ohio State team. He doesn't have to make a lot of plays with his legs. He'll make more than Kyle McCord did, that's for sure. More than C.J. Stroud did, that's for sure. But it's not totally necessary for him to carry the team. They've got Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins. They've got great receivers. And so it's not going to be absolutely necessary for Will Howard to win games with his legs. I think that's what Dillon Gabriel's one of his strengths were. So we'll see how it all plays out. I think Ohio State in the long run is better off what they've got. The Gabriel Howard thing, you can make arguments either way, but I for sure believe that Chip Kelly is a better fit for this team than Bill O'Brien would have been. Pardon me for the coughing. Also, think about this too. I've heard a lot of talk about how many Big Ten teams will get into the playoff. How many Big Ten teams? Like 3. It sounds like 3 is a lock, right? 3 for the SEC, maybe 4. And I was thinking about this. There are 5 teams in the Big Ten this year that were in the playoff last year. Think about that. There are 5 that would have been in the playoff last year if it was a 12-team playoff. I'm sorry, 5 that would have been in the playoff if the playoff had occurred last year. You had Washington, the 12-team playoffs. So you had Washington, Michigan, obviously, Ohio State, Oregon, and also I think Penn State was one of the other. But there would have been 5 current Big Ten teams would have been in a 12-team playoff last year. Something to think about there. Speaking of Oregon and Dillon Gabriel, it's the premier game on their schedule this year, Oregon hosting Ohio State. And Ticketmaster and University of Oregon have released standing room only tickets for this game. They had some standing room, and they are start at $325 for standing room only out in Eugene for this game on October 12th. The stadium holds like 54,000 people, so it's going to be a tough ticket no matter what. The secondary market on tickets for the game, like actual sitting down in the game, are over $3,000 now. It's ridiculous. It's the most anticipated regular season game in Eugene in years, maybe ever. Because at this point, Ohio State and Oregon, they'll both be in the top three when they play October 12th. They will both be who knows? One could be one. We're not sure. We'll see the preseason poll comes out. Most people think Georgia will be one, and then Ohio State 2, Oregon 3, or maybe Oregon 2, Ohio State 3. But it's going to be close. And they're playing each other. Again, no game time announced yet. I don't think it'll be a night game, but we'll see. And we'll see who's going to televise it also, for that matter. But yes, Ohio State, Oregon right now, standing room only tickets, $325, and then regular tickets, general, get in there, you're looking at more than $3,000 right now. It's only going to go up. Other news, speaking of money, Taylor Decker, who went to Ohio State, has signed a 3-year, $60 million extension with the Detroit Lions with $31.83 million guaranteed. Decker's been with the Lions. He was drafted 16th overall at Ohio State. He's an offensive tackle. I should probably say that. He was drafted 16th overall in the 2016 draft. He started 112 games over the past 8 years for them. He is the longest tenured player with the Lions, and he's under contract now through 2027. And I saw this news also that, and this was on Bucknuts, that if he plays out this entire contract in his career, he'll have made over $140 million. He turns 31 next month. So congratulations to Decker for that and getting that new contract with the Lions. Great things happened for the Lions. They made the NFC Championship last year for the first time in 32 seasons. Lots of fun there. Good for Decker. He was a great player at Ohio State. Another former Ohio State player in the baseball world, Dylan Dingler, a catcher for Ohio State, 25 years old. He was called up by the Detroit Tigers on Monday and made his major league debut Monday for the Tigers. He's a catcher, goes in there, plays against the Guardians in Detroit. He went 1 for 3 with a double and an RBI in his major league debut. Again, 25 years old, had a long career there in the minors. Good for him getting the chance to play in the big leagues with the Detroit Tigers. Other news, Ohio State men's basketball. Former Kansas State, Samford, and Florida guard Quez Glover is now going to be a Buckeye this year. He's a 6th-year guy. It's his last year of college basketball. He got the COVID year. He actually started at Florida, played there for a couple years, went to Samford, not Stanford, Samford, S-A-M-Ford, and then went to Kansas State, but didn't play it all last year because he had a couple of injuries. And so he comes to Ohio State now. He's his career stats, 10.3 points a game, 1.8 rebounds, 2 assists. The 1 year in Samford, we had a really good year. He did average 19 points a game, 19.2 points, 4.4 assists, and a little over a steal a game. So he's 6 feet tall, 185 pounds, Ohio State needs some depth at guards. This is good. Here's the interesting thing about Glover, though. He is not taking a scholarship. So Ohio State still has a scholarship to give. He's going to be technically a walk-on, but as part of an NIL deal he's got, that will pay for college. So he's not going to pay any money out of pocket, but he's not on scholarship, which is amazing if you think about it. I think you'll see more and more schools maybe kind of go this route if they have a chance to improve their teams this way without kind of scholarships. Ohio State still has 1 scholarship spot left. You can have 13 scholarships. Ohio State used 12 of them. And the rumor is that Ohio State's looking to add a big man, international big man, that they can add as their 13th scholarship guy. I don't know if the guy's playing the Olympics right now somewhere, but an international guy might be getting that 13th scholarship. Glover comes in, again, walk-on technically, but he's not paying anything for school. So good for him. He's a nice addition. They do need depth at guard. Sticking with basketball, Carmen crew. That's a team made up of primarily former Ohio State players, but also some other guys too. Jeff Gibbs from Otterbein here in Columbus. He went to Columbus East. I think he's 42 years old now. He's playing with Carmen's crew in the basketball tournament, the $1 million winner-take-all basketball tournament. Carmen's crew has won it before. They've got Jared Sullinger on the team back this year. They got the Wesson boys. Andre Wesson's out there playing for them, and also Caleb Wesson. So they've got a good squad, and they just advanced to the Final Four of the basketball tournament. They are playing against they beat the team called Takeover BC 90-74 on Monday night to get to the Final Four. And they're going to play a team of former Kentucky Wildcat players or former Louisville players on August 2nd in the Final Four. And then they win that. They go to the championship, win that. It's $1 million split up by the team. So good for them. We're rooting for them again. August 2nd, they're going to play their next game, their Final Four game, either against the Louisville team, former players Louisville or former players of Kentucky. One more note on this, on basketball. The Phoenix Suns acquired E.J. Liddell from the Atlanta Hawks. E.J. Liddell, remember, great 3-year career here at Ohio State. Went to the NBA draft, got drafted. I thought he was a first-round pick. He's a 6'6", kind of a tweener is the reason he slipped in the draft. But went in the draft to the Pelicans, one of the Pelicans, tore his ACL, didn't play at all in his first year. Played 5 games for them last year. Made a lot of time in the G League. I think he averaged like 17 and 9 in the G League. A lot of time there. Well, he was just traded a month ago by the Pelicans to the Hawks, the DeJounte Murray deal. And so he spends a month with the Hawks, and then they trade him now to Phoenix. David Roddy goes to the Hawks. And, the G League last year, he had 17.7 points, 7.8 rebounds a game with the Birmingham Squadron. And so you think he goes to Phoenix now. It seems likely that Phoenix is going to cut him and open up a roster spot and save a little money there. So I don't think he'll be there very long. Hopefully he'll catch on somewhere else. The guy was a tireless worker at Ohio State. Loved it. I loved watching him play. Loved watching him get better. But we'll keep an eye on EJ and see what ends up with his career. All right, that's it for the Buckeye Blitz. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, download the app. It's free for Apple and Android users both. We have so much great programming around the clock. You can check it out on there. Thanks so much for tuning in. Follow me on the X @FitHappens. More Buckeye news coming up soon, I promise.